First of all, huge apologies to the late arrival actually, but SpiceJet is to blame. I'm actually pretty not to blame here actually. I guess enough has already been spoken about solar pumping, so I'm not too sure how much value do I bring to the table. So what I'm going to do is just basically talk about our experiences mostly in Bihar, and maybe at the end of it, we can take a few questions, and I think that might be more engaging and interactive way to kind of get everyone on the same page. We're essentially a startup actually, I mean not even 2 years old. So this company was actually conceived in 2010 at the Kellogg School of Management. Me and my batchmate, we thinking about doing something in the clean tech space, and we thought that solar is very exciting to be in India. And we came down, we saw there's a tons of euphoria around the National Solar Mission had just come into being, and we thought that okay, let's just explore ways in which we could also bring some value to the table. And we did a lot of brainstorming, we did a lot of ground legwork around exactly trying to identify areas which were clearly underserved, because all the talk was mostly around the power plants, the megawatt scale PPA based projects which were set up in remote locations and they were selling power to the grid. We thought that that concept was a little flawed, especially in a place like India where the T&D losses are upwards of 40%. So anyways, one of the metrics we used was the impact evaluation, which was more around, what is the underserved segment, and also in terms of the sustainability of the business idea. So we realized, one of the things we wanted to look at was the on-grid, the off-grid, which we just talked about. But within off-grid, most of the talk was around solar lighting, for instance, solar lanterns or cook stoves. All of these initiatives are mostly, towards improving productivity, enhancing productivity. No one was really looking at, in a mainstream way. I believe Auroville has done a lot of work in the past, but I think the last 5-7 years there hasn't been much action in the water pumping space, so to speak, in India. But pumping, we felt, had a direct impact on a farmer's income potential, and we felt that instead of us trying to push products around solar pumping, there was a very natural pull on the demand side for a solution like this. So we thought, it made a lot of sense, and we felt that, instead of trying to enhance productivity, let's just try to improve the farmer's income. And once the income is improved or augmented, you obviously have that additional money to be spent on either sanitation or education or whatever. So we felt that fundamentally this was a more powerful idea, and that's how we kind of went around creating a company around this solar pumping. This is what I was talking about. The last 2 years that we've spent in Bihar, and it's been quite a revelation. I've been in India all my life, and I think the last 2 years have made me realize how little I knew about my own country. I really felt sorry for my colleagues in the US, because I've been painting a very different picture about how a city dweller's life in India is, and how untrue or far from reality that is from the actual India as we see in Bihar and in UP and other places. But if you look at a farmer's P&L statement, the cost for power required for irrigation is actually the single largest component now. And the reason for that is that electricity, while at least on paper and theory it's subsidized or free, it is largely unavailable or non-existent for most part. So which means the other alternative for farmers is diesel generation or DG based pump sets, which obviously we all know that diesel prices have only one direction to go, which is north. There isn't any other way about it. So much so that in Bihar, at least, I can speak about Bihar because we've had most of our experiences from that state. Agriculture is now more or less seen as an economically unviable activity. It's losing flavor. Most people who are actually landholders don't practice agriculture themselves. They mostly rent out land or whatever to farmers who want to kind of make their ends meet in some ways. So we thought that here's a very interesting proposition. We actually should look at saving the cost on irrigation, because these savings directly translate to the farmer's bottom line. And again, that the whole cycle starts around him seeing more value in agriculture and kind of putting more efforts toward it. So we said solar pumping is a great option. I'm going to try to put up a video here, though we have an installation. Amit from Rotomag has been kind enough to help us with that. But for those who've never seen a pump, I believe most of you have. I'm going to try to put this video on if it works. That's fine, we can probably just. Yeah. So all the fancy stuff aside, I just feel that if the economics still doesn't make sense, I think the entire idea falls flat. And if you look at the economics, it's actually very compelling. What we've done here is actually, it's going to vary significantly based on the region that you're in, based on the size of the pump. But this will just give you a sense of the numbers that we're talking about. So this is a 2 HP system actually. A 2 horsepower system works very well in Bihar because the water table is very high and the average land holding in Bihar is much small. So a 2 HP system is actually very probably a decent size system. I don't know. Probably in the earlier presentation you were talking about the 7.5 HP pump, which actually caters to an entire village in Bihar. I'm guessing in Gujarat perhaps it's probably just catering to one farmer. But if you look at just in terms of the diesel offset, and that's the only metric we're looking at, the payback period on the investment, assuming that it's an upfront cash sale, is 4 years, a little over 4 years. What we're not even accounting here, and again I'm saying this for Bihar, is that Bihar is mostly a single crop or at the max a 2 crop terrain. People don't practice agriculture in Dharma primarily because the water needs typically quadruple, which means the power needs also significantly increase, which means what was anyways an unviable activity becomes even more economically irrational. So what we're also not accounting for is that if the farmer accounts for the income generation from the one additional crop, let's assume that he's doing a Dharma crop now, improve the yields from the same parcel of land, ability to actually grow cash crops or high value crops which require more persistent watering. I think if all of those gains could be quantified, this number of 4.3 could actually come down to less than 2, which I think really makes things very interesting.
A good diesel pump doesn't take 1 hour of diesel every hour.
Sorry?
2 horsepower diesel pump doesn't
Yeah.
consume 1 liter of diesel every hour.
See,
Right?
But equivalent you have to do with a 5 HP.
See
Okay,
what
in
happens.
this discussion we
Yeah.
will do it. I'll tell you the different reason why it's saying so. Because we'll get into it. I have spent 10 years, so I'll tell you exactly where the problems are. So that's why I postponed my discussion so that let everybody present.
Yeah.
Then we'll come back.
So that was kind of the economic side of things. Now, how do you make these systems available actually to the masses actually? For most part of the 70 odd systems that we've installed, 99% have been cash sales, which means that as a startup we can't really provide financing. We have certain limitations at an organizational level, and which means that only people or institutions or organizations which can actually afford the upfront investment or in a very capex heavy way will be able to access these systems. And what we're working towards is how do you actually innovate around the business models to make these systems more affordable. And these are just few things, few ideas that we've been brainstorming around. But pay-per-use is one concept which is already being practiced, but which is mostly being done by the diesel entrepreneurs. So one proposition that we see which should be an easier sell is to actually first get these diesel entrepreneurs to start adopting these systems, because they've anyways figured out the whole rental model for irrigation water using their DG pump sets. And what we're saying is that the economics make sense for you. Why don't we replace your asset, the DG set, with a solar pump set? And you anyways recover your costs in less than 4 years, and subsequent to that, it's all the income is directly flowing to the bottom line.
I think you have a time to think. Just
Okay.
Because you came late,
That's
so I
fine.
don't know the rules of the game.
That's fine. Similarly, we're trying to introduce lease-based models also, wherein the farmer can start paying some amount towards owning the system, and at the end of 4 years or something, the system is actually transferred to him. All of this will really be augmented once we introduce mainstream financing to the equation, and NABARD and a lot of RRBs in Bihar are working closely with them. That said, we've still yet to make this largely available to a broad audience. Again, I'm sure you all understand the value, but this is actually very interesting because these are actually pictures. We all know India was facing a near drought situation, and sometime in August actually Bihar was on the verge of declaring about 25 districts as drought affected. And this article came out. These are actually pictures from our site in Mubarakpur. I think Mr. Tiwari must have visited these sites. Taken on the 8th of August. These people are actually absolutely unmindful of the fact that there's a drought-like situation in the state. One thing we've also seen is that there's a great drive towards growing maize now, because maize, the water requirement there is actually high, but it's low maintenance. Farmer doesn't have to really put in a lot of effort, and it gets them a very good price in the market. So again, solar pump is definitely having an impact, and I'm sure would love to have you guys go visit. As a startup, this is more the fancy stuff actually, but we're already talking about a double and a triple bottom line. There's an environmental impact also to a solar pump, which should be quantified. That said, in a country like India, where you're looking at addressing the needs of a population which is trying to make ends meet, it takes a little bit of a backseat, but that's definitely there. We're also, impacting lives by, providing jobs and stuff. The one thing that we've done, and which we feel is very critical right now, is to actually get the government agencies to really go and adopt. Bihar alone actually gives out 600 crores worth of diesel subsidy to our farmers every year. Our argument to them is that, why don't you just read out the 600 crores into solar pumping? It's just a one-time thing, and then you kind of, you've taken them away from diesel dependence for the next at least 15-20 years. So we've basically really done a lot of capacity building around getting a lot of folks to come and visit our sites, understand what the concept is, and we've had some very interesting applications even outside of irrigation, and maybe I can just talk about those offline. I personally believe that subsidies are actually a bit of a bummer. They're not sustainable in the longer run. They actually push the demand out. So farmers are giving us traction, saying that yes, they see value in such systems and they want to invest. Don't invest because they've heard from some politician who's made some announcement somewhere that, oh, we're coming out with a subsidy program. So there is an intent, there's a desire, there's even a willingness to pay, but he says if there's a subsidy program, then I might as well wait for it. The subsidy program never comes out. So I feel that, it's availability of reasonable, affordable financing, which is the real deal, the real game changer, and not subsidy. This is a little bit about our team. I think as a startup, we've been fortunate enough to get a set of bright folks actually, from all kinds of educational and, renowned professional backgrounds. So I think that's probably one of the reasons we've done well. These are some pictures from our installations. There's one, I believe, somewhere outside, a live installation, so probably would love to have you guys go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.